Okay, let's get this started. See where this goes. How does that sound? Good. Unicus. Oh, good morning. How's things? Okay. So I don't know if you saw in the Discord, but I did get UI working. I finally did get Angular up and running with Liquid Sky. So when we get back to Agile Project, this does work. So that was fun. I got some mock-ups done over the weekend and got a UI worked on yesterday and got it working. So fun. I think that will probably help with getting people to maybe engage, or it might help with viewer retention as well. Once it's got a UI on it, it'll start to become more realistic. When it's pure API, it's a little hard to follow all the time. At least the UI will bring some visibility to it. But yeah, that felt good to get that working. Although I still struggled through with Angular. So that was, pardon me, that was challenging. Oh dear. All projects. Okay, so let's just do run HTTPS and Blazor. After previous started. Why? Name this API. This Blazor client. Okay. Oh, really? You forget the name? So that's not a link then. Awesome. So back to drink water today. Gonna figure out where we were. Oh, we had preference. Oh, do we not merge? Not merge. None of this has target fluid ounces, so let's check out that remote branch and let's see. No. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I'd opened Rambling Geek's version of it. Let's make sure. Okay. So, yeah. I'd opened Rambling Geek's version. Yes, we were dealing with time zone issues, yeah. So, we get there. Dota, good morning. Hope you're well. Yeah, so I put a time zones list in because we were getting mismatched what the client says time zones are and what the server says time zones are. Yes, we were. You are quite correct, yes. So I just put in an API endpoint for time zones because even doing this code on the client yields a very different list than, yeah, I remember now. What? Failed to bind address already in use. Remove that one. Don't accidentally open that one again. Clean solution. Not that's going to do anything for that. Okay, there we go. Preferences. So the time zones. Where we get into that? Okay, so let's have a look at the client. Pages, preferences. So time zone, time zones. Time zones was here. Now I should call that troll. Hi, Mr. Jones. How you doing? How's Bognor Regis? Oh, come on. This bugs me in Blazor. Cause. Not a cause, it's this. This is the problem. Yeah. Yeah, that probably didn't. Okay, so get preferences. So get preferences is failing. Oh, dogs. Oh no, I'm at Bishop Stortford Services. Ah. You set off like I suppose it is only midday for you, so you're on your way. But well, so the problem I've learned recently is when you get a cause error, it's not always a cause issue. You have to look at the error that Blazor's throwing, because once you solve that error, that cause error can go away. Because if you look at the API, cause default, it is allowed, right? I think I did allow any origin actually. But if I run it again, it'll still. So I'll go back into it in a second. Ah, you can't do that. Yeah, Blazor is a liar Panzerfire, yeah. Failed to bind to address 7244. Could be one of them days. Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Take care, drive safe. Seven two four four is the API. Edit. After previous style, yep. Oh. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, I forgot to do it. Oh, shout out. Yeah. I coded 3 hours on Sunday. Will likely take it easy today as a result, which is kind of cool. Is it running? Is it the same port from the Sky app? No, no, it's not. I'm tempted to just code as normal today and chill out more later in the week. Why not? Oh no, because it ran the first time and then it got stuck again. So something's not ending properly. Mondays always an extremely productive coding day for me. Huh. I don't always. Oh. For me, it depends on where my focus is. Like, if I'm on something that I'm really kind of engaged with or not. Like today, I've got meetings, and I'm going through and changing code. Also, a lot of files. That's it. Copying and pasting. But today, I will not be very engaged. Oh, please, dogs. The dogs are feeling lonely. Why they're crying. I do have tomorrow off though. It's time for Loki to go and go to the vets. So how do I stop this happening? Yeah, can I clear that in any way, shape, or form? That's too general. That's a silly search. Hold on. Edit configurations, API. Open an editor, cancel that. 5 and 8. That's now going to break the client, but we'll worry about it in a second. There we go. At least we're logging it in here now. So this is the client, right? The API is up and running on 7245. Unhandled exception rendering component failed to fetch. So the actual problem, it says, is happening in here, right? Ah, of course. Let's try it. Let's try it. Try it this way. What was the user? I think I used Rambling Geeks test user. So test at nowhere.com. There's a little bug in front of my face. Log in. Healthier. So our token, yeah, we have a token. There you go. There you go. Time zone ID was not found on the computer. References, time zone ID is blank. Got a chicken and egg going on there, haven't I? So the problem there is if I get preferences to set preferences, this can be, yeah. So what we need to do is var preferences, var time zone ID equals preferences dot time zone ID not string is null or empty. That'll work fine. Then preferences dot time zone ID else that one, and then that can be time zone ID. So now you should always get UTC by default, right? Let's try that again. So yeah, tomorrow I am off work because I've got to take Loki to the vet. I think I got to take him at 7 a.m. though, so my stream time will be pushed back. But I have the day off, so I'll stream for longer. So I'll probably start when I get back. Like get breakfast, start when I get back, and then yeah, do it that way. Okay, so you see this time zone stuff is very different than the watch. See how that's different? Yeah, if you do this on the client, it's really different. So watch. Registration preferences. Hey Malvi, how you doing? Pro coder. Some days feel more like it than others. Let's just do this. For each var tz in What's the code? So I'm going to use the exact same code as here, right? So this is the exact same thing. Why is that? Why do I need that? Oh, to convert it to an enumerable from a read-only collection. Okay. So I'm going to use the same code in this. And then we're going to do if now here's the problem of going between Angular and Blazor. My syntax is going to keep getting messed up. tz.id, right? So we don't need to care about that. I just need to show display name is different. Display name. Okay, so I'm gonna, when I render the component, I'm gonna show what the client system time zones look like compared to the server. And I think they're different. If I'm wrong, yep, look at how different they are. That's what the client time zones are, and that's what the server time zones are. This is Blazor. So this is yeah, HTML and the C# mixed. That's why this is not working, you see, because these time zones here do not equal the same as these here. If I select Eastern Time US Canada there, hit save. Yep, that works fine. Yeah, probably. I mean, for now, considering what we're trying to do with this project, I think that's acceptable because someone else can go and tinker with that and learn if they want to. But I think that's okay for moving on for now. Unless anyone really wants me to go digging down into what time zones mean in culture info. That could be quite a deep hole. Good morning, Alpex, by the way. Do you write C# code, then it becomes HTML? No, so this Blazor syntax, the Razor syntax, sorry, is these Razor files in here. So the different Microsoft technologies for dealing with web development. This is Blazor WebAssembly. So this all gets compiled and sent down to the actual client as an application to run, right? So the browser is essentially running the C#, but which is why it's different. And I want the server time zones because it's the server that matters, so it doesn't really matter here. Yeah, okay. So here I'm interjecting. I don't know what the right word there is. But I'm using C# code here to loop through the time zones that are returned in the data. I have this file in the background. This is the code file that matches this page. Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, that when the browser is asked to display the time zones, so that is a useful lesson. The fact that if there are differences in the way some of the information can be returned based upon the platform, if you're doing it in the client, that's yeah. But anyway, that should allow me to go here. You can take that breakpoint out at this point. Really? Oh, reload's so good. But now, whatever I save is getting saved, and that's fine. So this is used, so the reason that we're doing this selection is this selects the offset hours for the time zone, so that it, yeah. How long it took to make this? This has been, I mean, I only work on this 2 days a week on stream, and I don't work on it off stream. This monitor is 2560 by 1440, or rather the stream resolution is at 2560 by 1440. Twitch will downscale it to 1080p. But if you're on YouTube, you do get to see the full. Yeah. This is a 34-inch monitor. Yeah, this is 34 inches, I believe. Yeah, I've got two 34-inch monitors. One's ultra wide, and one's regular. So anyway, okay. So we have the ability to log water. We have the ability to set our preferences. Oh no, I have a dedicated stream PC, so this is my entire stream PC. This is the entire dev PC. Or rather, this is one of the screens. I do have it across two monitors. So you're seeing the one monitor. Okay. Seems I'm the rarity these days. Most streamers tend to go to one PC now, whereas I still kind of prefer having a stream PC. But you can see the convenience of having one PC, because then you only have one PC, so you can put a bit more money into one really good PC. But yeah, I still kind of prefer having this one isn't. No, this one is it's a regular format. The other one is I have two monitors, one in front of me here, and one to my right here. The ultra wide is a 3440 by 1440. And only one PC that can crash. Right, but if you've got dual PCs, yeah. Yeah. You bring your dev PC down, your stream doesn't go down. But yeah. Anyway. Okay, so preferences loading in screen. So we definitely have that working now, right? Where the focus of this story was to get the preferences loading in. So let's go back to, where is it? GitHub.com. TBD friends. If you want to follow along this project is, the source is all available on GitHub. You're more than welcome to go and check it out if you want to. The purpose of this project is solely to discuss on stream, so I don't do any work on this off stream. Even if there's a bug, I don't fix the bug off stream. The idea is that if you have issues with the application, you can register issues with it. You can, so it's kind of if you want to practice some of the pieces of what it is to work with an open source project, or you want to practice working with GitHub, you want to do some coding, you want to do some, just general admin stuff. Then then you're more than welcome to contribute. So, and the how to get started is kindly added by a viewer contribution. Oh yeah. Funny, I wonder if you had set up Blazor to run server side if it gives you the same list of time zones. Well, I would imagine it wouldn't. I would imagine it would give you the right list because it would be generated on the should still be generated on the server, that, right? That shouldn't, no, because in Blazor server, Blazor's sending down HTML to the client, and communicating back and forth. It's not actually doing any generation, whereas with WebAssembly, the C# is running as assemblies in the browser. As far as I understand it. Okay, so let's get a PR made for this one, I think. I mean, I think this is an acceptable solution for now. Again, if someone wants to play with culture info, learn more about that, then maybe there's a way we can track that. that's up to you. I mean, you as viewers, if you want me to focus on that, I can focus on that. I don't personally feel there's any value in doing it right this second. I will say there's probably a benefit in well, we'll start a discussion. Yeah, Q&A. Trying to think about where to document that because it's worth making with wiki. No, I'm not putting a comment in. Comment is not the right place. I'll have to have a think because it's worth knowing because that's an educational point, right? But a comment isn't going to help that because you might not get here, right? Let's move on for now, and then we'll come back around on that if we need to. Okay, so water. Sorry, just making sure to open yet another tab. I have a lot of windows open. Make a PR, new pull request. That's what I was going to do. I was going to go here. Yeah, I thought so. So what we're doing is we're storing the time zone ID instead of the time zone offset. So there is a time zone converter, and it's about converting from Ayana to Windows and the other way around. Apparently not all on map though. Yeah, I think what we've got now for what we're building here, right? Again, we're building an application that's just for the stream. It's good. If it's rough for a while, and then it can become better later, right? Yeah. I think it's a sufficient solution, and again, it's worth if someone wants to tinker with it or learn more or educate more, then that's worthwhile doing. That is a big commit. That is not what I intended to do. Preferences, saving, loading in UI. Time zone offset not sufficient. We need to store time zone ID so we can get currently. I mean, I'll capture it in here. Create an API endpoint. So server provides time zones as client. I'll say platform for now. I mean, clearly the Chrome is providing. I mean, it would be interesting to know if all the browsers provide the same time zone list. That would be kind of something to learn. And I guess I'm going to learn that problem. I'm going to learn that again when I come around to it in water in Liquid Sky. Because Liquid Sky is going to have the same challenge, and they're going to have to store the user's information at some point, the profile information. So Yeah. Okay. Time zone offset not sufficient. Updated services. Updated tests to account for time zone ready. Commit and push. Continue. Okay, so let's go here. So we made sure the preferences of target fluid. Well, in Liquid Sky, you can go deeper to figure out if just the API is enough. I think it is, by the way. Only issue will be if you ever change from Windows to Linux for the host, and how many times would you want to do that? Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting challenge because as I'm developing on Windows, right? If I go and then run Kubernetes hosted all in Kubernetes, my local boxes for a while. Because what my plan will be is I'll set up another machine in my house and run an instance that I can demo and test with, and get Kubernetes running on that, or maybe make a cluster of some form. I've got a few spare machines. Get it running so that I can host it and put a public address on it, and then I can demonstrate and I can do all that sort of stuff. But then I'll be hosting it on Linux, so that'll be a fun challenge to understand. Well, I say fun, could be frustrating to understand some of those differences like that, where the time zones, because again, the time zones are going to matter again for notifications, for all those sorts of things on the client side. So yeah. Time zones, origin, we don't care. Change that for no reason. Time zone ID, set preferences. Added the time zone selection. Added the ability to get the target fluid analysis in there. Save. We have the uninitialized where we're now going to load that information. Load the time zones. Fine. Okay, that's what the binding is. Yep. Preferences again. Right now, this is all in weird places. We added a view models folder. The set preferences. That's the designer. I'm not going to open it. Drop the column time zone offset hours. Add the column time zone ID. Yeah. Time zone ID. This isn't sufficient. Consumption repository. It works. Yeah, it works. We calculate the offset hours now based on the time zone. Time zone IDs. Yeah, so we do the test. That way, is your bot still logging stuff? No, my bot. I don't run the bot unless I Unless I need to. Yeah, you could put that in Discord. That'd be appreciated. Pull request. Probably should set up a GitHub action actually to get this. Thank you. What do I didn't hear a bloop? Maybe I'm in streamer mode. Maybe that stops the bloop happening. Okay, I'm going to merge that for now. Delete the branch. That takes the issue down. That's now development. So there we go. Check out. Patch latest. Update. So if you're new to the stream, if you're just joining, this is Water Drink Water. This is a project that is viewer friendly, somewhat beginner friendly. If you're new to C#, if you're new to using Git and things like that, you know, these streams are aimed at being able to help use the project as a reference to discuss things, to talk about things like practices, coding styles, architecture, all sorts of different things. I still need to remove that. Rumbling Geek's lasting contribution. You know, so the project is not one about me getting stuff done on stream. I mean, I'm getting stuff done to move the project forward, right? But if you're interested in doing stuff with it, if you want to contribute, you're more than welcome to make a PR. Everything will get reviewed on the stream. So it's just a collaborative project, or aimed at being a collaborative project that's there for everyone of all levels. If you want to put a different UI on it, if you want to practice using React or Angular or whatever, you're more than welcome to create a client and use the API that exists and use this as kind of an API to build upon, to stretch your legs. So okay, so let's what's the fix for this? Create initially. So I've obviously verified this, right? If I if the token has expiration, I believe. Services, token service. So there is an expiration of 1 hour. That token's invalid after an hour. What's the practice here? Is the practice the client side understands how to read the token and decodes it and says, has it expired? Refresh. Or when we sign it, when we log in, does the or when we start, does the application make a request to validate the token? What is the best practice there? It's Ranhorn, good morning. What's the right thing to do here? Do we put in? Like, do we validate a token like that? Does the client validate the token? Because ultimately, the problem is that the client application is built around the concept of the token existing. So if the token exists, I suppose I'm kind of answering my own question there. If the token exists, it's good enough to be there, right? So if this actually does validate the token, is that the right way to do that? Authenticate. Let's say send more data along with the token, as in something like access token issued at expires in. We don't have the concept of a refresh token. We do get so if we decode the JWT or the JOT on the on here in here, then is authenticated actually validates the expiration as well. Because we do get a date time when it expires, right? So we know the time has expired. Is that a reasonable thing to do? So we decode it on here. Oh, but we can't decode it on here because it's not. We need a validate call, don't we? Because only the server has the. Yeah. But only the server has the signing key. So only the server can decrypt it. So I could have a validate which says yay and nay. The client is some sort of authentication state provider. Right, add the extra information in. But I'd still need to decode that and pass that around as well. So how does this get? So this is built upon. Yeah. So this is the better way, right? So as thank you for the prompt, Delpas. And LR9. I've been there before. iPacks. My apologies. Silly fonts. Um, yeah, yeah, it's in there. So again, iPax's suggestion of using the state provider is probably the right way because then it's built into the. I can say, hey, is this authorized? It knows what authorized means on the client. The challenge, the thought I'm having is because right now it's bundled into here, right, into my user service, right. Whereas I could just inject the state provider, I assume. Or is this separate? Still. Authentication state provider is the underlying service used by the authorized view component as cascade. You don't typically directly use the authorized view. Right, so nothing's notified. So what's the solution if you do want things notified? Yeah. But by design, the state provider doesn't necessarily do the validation of the token either, right? So it doesn't actually know about token. It's just a wrapper that can hook into the other things, so the authorized stuff works. It means I can pass permissions and stuff down into the client as well through that, because then it has the concept of the role. Yeah, it's a way of laying out. In Blazor, you can control how people see things, role-based views, etc. You can lay out the actual application. Yeah, authorized routes. There's other things as well. Yeah, authorized. So you can just wrap authorized around. I think you can put roles in there as well, so you can actually show authorized and non-authorized content. But like it says, yeah, like it says, the challenge is if the state changes, your view isn't automatically notified, so you have to still refresh or reload. So the challenge is, so here's the problem right this second, right? If that token expires, the UI doesn't update, nothing, because nothing's validating the token, but the token's valid, so the UI still thinks that the valid that everything is valid, so it offers everything. Yeah. No, it does automatically refresh if authorized views used when the okay. And the documentation. Was I incorrect about that then? Don't typically use directly use the authorized view or approaches described later in this article. The main drawback to using... Oh, okay, so it's... Okay. It's if you're using it directly. If you're using authorized view, it does know. Right. But what triggers... authorized versus non-authorized in state provider, right? Because the authorized view requires a state provider, right? Custom ASP, awesome. Tokens or narrow permissions. So we are producing. It's to log in, log out using ASP. Okay, so we are using a standard. We're not using some custom version of that now. Authentication. So I'm going to figure out how to create. So I think an ASP is the right way. These are my experiments at the moment. Sorry, it doesn't allow you to post links, I'm afraid. I restrict links. You're more than welcome to put them in the Discord, though, iPads, if you want to. Just now realizing TBD's ability to read the documentation. In what way? You say I'm better at reading docs? Ah. I've learned nothing from this stream. Is that I should read the documentation more. But so I'll scroll very fast up and down. I actually am taking in. I am looking at what I'm doing, and I'm scanning for information that I might want to go and look at in more depth. What I'm looking for right now is to see if there is an example. That's why I scroll back up and down, is to keep my attention focused on it. I'm looking to see if there's an example of how to implement that ASP. So, IPAX, if you do have a link to share, you're more than welcome to drop it in the Discord. Anyway, well, also thank you very much for hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a good day of work. Login callback. So let's have a look. Creating custom authentication provider. Blazor client. Blazor WebAssembly. I feel like that's necessary to specify. Built in, implementing custom. I'm not. Authorization, auth service, ASP. Okay, so the ASP injects the okay. Custom state provider, get authentication state. New claims identity. Get current user. I just don't like I want to do that. Because that doesn't return. Yeah, that's not a token, is it? Thank you for the link. There you go. Authentication state provider. Try login. Claims identity, claims principal. Notify authentication state. Try login. Is this capturing the token? Contains a key async. Token response. So you're pulling the token apart. What is token response? Token type access token expires and refresh token. So you're reading the token. The access token contains. Token response is token response. So set token in user, so you just get that and set the user info in local storage. You know, a refresh token. Okay. But ultimately, we create a custom state provider, and then go from there. Thank you for sharing this, IPAX. Appreciate it. Hi, Rumbling Geek. Good day. Okay, so let's go and do this. I think we will take up this challenge because I think this cleans everything up a little bit, right? So we'll take on this task. So let's do no stars in progress. Sign myself. Create a branch. Feature 16 app shows logged in. I don't like this. This bugs me. I'm gonna do that differently. That's how we're doing that. And then we go back over to here. Go to 16. And select. That branch. Now we're gonna fetch that, expand that. Feature 16. Check out. Also, this branch should be deleted now. I don't want that lying around. Feature 16, app shows logged in even when the user doesn't. Okay. So, essentially, we still want the user service. We just need to create a token provider and then figure out how to. So if we go back to where did it go? Close it? No. Oh, here. We go back to here. We add a provider. We just need to do that. Okay. For right now, I'm going to create a I'm going to create an infrastructure folder. Again, anything I'm doing with this project is open to debate. When it comes to the client, this is my implementation of the client. If you want to implement your own against the same things, you can do. You're more than welcome to. That's kind of why we're not. I'm trying not to change the API for the sake of my client, right? As much as that's possible. But I'm making a client so that it demonstrates the pieces rather than just, again, if I've learned anything, it's through going through Liquid Sky. It's that the more I'm away from the UI, the less engaged people are going to be. Am I using? I don't know. Am I using that? Should I be using that? Have you got any references I could use to how to do this properly? You are the Blazor person. Microsoft. Have you got any references that I could use? Let's add it. Appreciate it. So add OIDC. Or okay, so that's okay. Sorry. So that's our authentication state provider. The token provider in this case is just is basically my user service, right? Access token provider components. So we log in. Then we set the access token to a new access token model. Okay, so yours and iPads is token provider in this case. Hey Apex, how you doing? My access token provider. Back to here. I'm well tired, but well. How are you? Not bad. I had to realise that I'm getting very stuffy. I might need to go get a drink of water in a minute. Just trying to add some so what we're trying to work on right now is when you are, if you just start the application up and you've previously been logged in, it's storing the token in the local storage. But it's not validating that, and obviously I don't get any of the benefits of I'd have to hand roll all the auth. So things like hiding menu options and stuff is impossible. So we do that. Auth scopes. Why do they need to match? Okay, let's go ahead and um, this is some old legacy stuff from React project. Okay, to clean up. Okay, so let's try and piece this together and see how it goes. So custom authentication, state. I'm just going to call it custom just so it stands out a little bit, right? I don't need to be clever about the name. And this is, oh no, this is a provider, right? I want provider. Is it a custom provider? Do you actually do that? You're just injecting a standard one there. But this isn't a you're not creating a doing what you're doing. You're not creating a custom provider. You're using a component which is used. Right. Right. This is most perplexing. Cascading via access token. The access token is then handed down to everything. So does the access token provider get wrapped around the entire thing? Shared. Morning, Amal. How are you doing? So, okay, let's go. Let's not even do that for right a second. So what you're suggesting is let's go here. Builder.services. Add OIDC. That's options, not that. Now, if we go into, now we need a app config here. App settings.json. Yep. Yeah, I saw that before. Yeah, you got this auth section. Was he using OIDC? I thought he just had a login and return success token. Right, I mean, he's doing that anyway. He's logging in. This stuff gets hard when you mess around with the client side. I like this. I like the moving data around in the back end. So you put one in here. That doesn't get copied out, I assume. No. I'm logging in and getting a token right this second. Remember the hand rolled version, and then we changed it to use the token. So it does create an actual JWT. Legit. But it's interesting. I'm not. No, I appreciate the contribution. It's like, so what you're doing is not too dissimilar to what iPax has got as well. We're not working with OIDC, but so I get why, but they're very similar. You're still using the token. But this is just kind of indicative of how difficult some of this stuff actually is, because even Microsoft's documentation, right? Let's re-implement OIDC. Where is it? Over here. Process with OIDC, authentication library. So authentication library talks about token, right? So WebAssembly.authentication. Right, I'm still using that authentication library. That's what I said about the response to logging the change to add a bit more data, make it a little more hollow. Well, I'm not hand rolling my own standard if I'm following what they're suggesting, right? So they're saying authentication library, process with OIDC. So the suggestion would be to make the server OIDC compatible. Orolf, good day. How are you doing? So Junicus, your proposal is kind of make it more look like OIDC. Stratholm, you would assume I'd have used OIDC. I mean, you're starting to create the patterns of auth management. Gee, I wonder why this is so difficult to do. It's so difficult to find a good source of here's actually how to do it. So like custom authorization, I'm not doing custom. No, not exactly. I'm proposing returning a bit more data with the tokens. You don't have to pass it on the client. Right. I'm struggling, I won't lie. I'm not getting any good results for the machine learning, and I needed a break to vent and relax a bit. Well, come on in. We are. Seems I'm about to hit need for vent and relax myself. Hi, Conan Things. Welcome. Donna 8 is providing an option for auth endpoints improvements to auth and identity in 4.8. It links are prevented unless you're a VIP or admin. So if you try and post a link, it'll do star star star. And it reads. I think it reads to you like you just posted the link, but to everybody else, they see stars. You can just have an auth service that stores a token and the metadata. It's used to figure out if they're logged in, granted that it's fully custom. Right, and again, the purpose of this project is one of learning, right? It's not of necessarily hacking the things together. So I'm okay with. We're working on auth. So this stems from, he says, with enough windows open. I'm glad I've got a lot of memory in this machine. So if you're logged in, right, hi Canny. Yeah, Pack Solution is not wrong. If you're logged in and an hour passes, right, the token expires. So then it tries to make, when you go into the app, because there's a token there, the app says, hey, you're logged in, right? But it's expired. So when it goes to make a request, it errors. Need to turn that back on. Okay. So yeah, that's the core of what I'm trying to focus on right now. Is actually that problem is that the UI now is invalid, right? So if we start the application up, if I haven't broken everything, if we start the application, right, we can navigate around here, but it's logged. It's actually been an hour, so it's logged out, right? So my token's invalid. Actually, I think I might have clicked the menu entry there. Right. So if my token expires, I don't want to have this. So making sure that the validation and also the menu entries right now, it's only the presence of the token is what's displaying it rather than the validity of the token. So my first thought would be to go and put a validation in when we start the application, go and validate that token, but then that's again just adding more odd behavior in. So if we validate the endpoint and it returns back null, so again, to hook it into the actual UI, if I create a custom state provider, let's have a look. Let's do the custom state provider. Let's see how we get that working. Custom authentication state provider. Right. This is an authentication state provider. So in here, if we inject our user service, does this have all the public overrides? No, that's it. Just get authentication state. So authentication state is the claims principal. So if I go back to and again, for those watching, this isn't something I do very often. Well, this isn't something I do. So I'm learning as much. Judicus, thank you very much for everything, as always. I appreciate it. We'll see you later. I'm going to go back and bang my head into this problem some more. I should have taken the ML courses at my school. Hope you have a great stream. Thorolf, take care. Don't stress. Take your time. You'll get there. So this is great and all. If you're using Blazor WebAssembly, this isn't available. Okay. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So again, the way this stream works is if you're new to the stream, this project I do 2 days a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. It is aimed at being viewer friendly in so much as the project is fully available. You can go and you can do !water to get the link to the project. You can download the code, you can tinker with the code, you can fork it and do pull requests. You could use it as just a little tinkering app if you wanted to. But the aim is that the stream accompanies the project. So I don't do any work on the project off the stream. If you want to add issues, if you want to tinker with it and add issues, you can add issues and we can look at them on stream. If you do a pull request, I will review that on stream. But it is solely aimed at being a viewer-friendly project. In that, everything we talk about is fully available to you. The code is all there. The project I work on the remainder of the week is closed source, and that's a little harder to get your head around. So this is kind of my way of bridging that gap. So I can talk about architectural concerns, I can talk about design problems and challenges like this, and if you know what you're doing, right? If you know there's a way of implementing this, you could go off and fork the project and implement it to demonstrate here's how you should do it, right? And we can review that. So I don't know everything, right? I'm not an expert in all things. If anything, I'm more of a generalist anyway. So I don't specialize in any one area of software development. So, this stuff is something that I don't often do, and when I do, I kind of do what I need to do to get it done, and then I move on from it. So it's not something I can talk authoritatively about. But that's why I'm streaming it, because that is good to show, right? That even someone with experience doesn't actually have all the answers straight away. And so I'm more than happy to take comments and suggestions on this stuff. I'm happy to discuss it further, and yeah, try and learn. What I'm trying to do right now is get back to where I was. So I have a login process. It takes a username and password. It gives me a token back. That token can expire. Now I could put permissions and stuff in the token, but it doesn't really matter. As far as the app's concerned, all that's necessary to know is, has that token expired, right? So if we put a kind of a validate endpoint in here, you put a head. Does a head authorize? Let's see. So head is a verb for, it doesn't take data, you don't pass variables to it, you can just test to see if something's there. I want to see if it's possible. Yeah, accept that. Well, to Dynamite, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Don't want to allow anonymous. Do I want to? Yes. Doesn't allow this is possible. Endpoint. How do I do a results? Bad request. I appreciate it, thank you. Okay, so that does allow head as a verb. Okay. So I'm just thinking about that as the validate, right? So you could use that to just validate the token. Essentially, is authenticated. I do authenticated. So hold on. Token.value await client dot this is going to be interesting. Can you make a head request from HTTP? Var request equals new HTTP request message HTTP method head. Yes, you can. API login. Does that have default headers? Headers equals new authentication header value bearer token. Oh, there's a weird way of doing this, isn't there? There are a auth API endpoints. You can also get a refresh token, then you can try and refresh the token automatically. Right, but I'm rolling my own, so I'm not implementing. This has not got traditional auth in it. This has just got a basic endpoint that gets a token, so we don't have the refresh token. So ultimately, this is why I'm doing the application the way I am, right? I'm building the pieces that you might develop if you were doing this like I am doing it, right? I'm just kind of throwing the pieces in, and then we can look at better ways of doing things and how to improve things. And maybe we need to implement proper auth on the API side, and there's different tools we can put in place. Right now, it's very basic. It knows there's a bearer token coming in, and that's it, right? And then we generate a JWT in the back end and pass it down. So we're not using those endpoints for refresh, etc. So if I do this for now, then we can look at that as a greater project down the line. Here's how to implement proper auth, or so yeah, that's not the way you do that. Right. So then I'm gonna await client.send request async. So actually, pardon me. This is going to, if token is false. There's no point in waiting on that. And again, because this project's open, right? If you know how to implement that stuff, we could do a PR and we could look at those pieces. You could experiment with what it is to add those pieces in, right? I'm not trying to get this. I'm not trying to use the project as a way to get other people to do my work, which is why it's a fully open source project. And I'm not sharing my main project, because if you have opinions on how I should do that in my main project, I don't want that to look like I'm asking people to do work for me. What I'm trying to do here with this project is share, hey, this is how you can do this. I've done this before. Here's how you implement it. And you could do that as a PR if you wanted to, or you could kind of point in the right direction and give some references. And over time, people can add improvements to the application. So var response equals, and then if response.is success status code, return false. Otherwise return true, yeah. Actually, just return that. Because if this returns true, then that is an okay request, and that's fine. So now in here, we can do await async. We can do await user service that is authenticated. Return new authentication state. What's the claims principle do? I don't know. There's this stuff. Claims principle. That's that's it. Authentication type API auth. So then we go here and we do builder.services.add scoped. Custom authentication state provider. Your demo had. Did I close yours down? No, I didn't. Over here. Yeah, add scoped. Okay. So, how will that work? Well, layout, main layout. So now we need nav menu. Authorize. So we don't need that in the same way anymore. We do need the user service still. Authorize and log. Actually, I think that layout nav menu. Authorize view. I think we do this, and then we do right. Hold on. I think it wanted to offer me something before. It was back to yeah. Authorized route view, authorized Authorized and not authorized. Okay, so there we go. So not authorized is that. And authorized is that. Let's start it up and see. Yeah. Interesting. That was this endpoint. That. The endpoint must implement either handle async or execute async methods. Okay, so that's just because I'm not overriding the right piece, right? Yeah. There's no suitable method for override. Beg to differ. Handle async. So this is if when it calls the head request, right? This is going to be authenticated. So if it's invalid, it's going to return a failure anyway. So it doesn't actually get in here. Let's just do something just to validate. Request dot. Doesn't really matter. Handling head request. And again, this request is literally just a "are you there" sort of thing, and it'll pass the token in, and that'll be validated by the fact that this requires authentication. So let's start them up again. Interesting. You put layout there. Ah. Oh, the question is, did it do the head request? Right. No, 500 internal server error. Right. So that actually errored. So essentially, my services app stack. Debug. Console dev server API project. Debug output. Inc. So there's the startup. There's an application content type header. Interested? The head didn't request anything. Right? There's no body to the head. That's the point. There's a token. Let's see if it actually gets to the. It might be because it is valid. I don't see why that would do that. Right, it doesn't get there at all. So interestingly, it still works, right? The so I think that this needs to be. Can you do? No, if I try and pass null in there, go into error. So what is an invalid state? Authentication state provider. That's fine at all, but okay. So an empty claims principle, right? So that's what that's meant to be, right? So that's saying that well, this is throwing an exception. But I don't think it's getting there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't get there. Interesting that this is by default. I mean, the token's there, so the token's working. Right? Uh, well, lockout button isn't working. So it doesn't actually hit that because the user service receives a 500 error. Ah, but it calls it. That's the challenge there. What? Let's see. Of using that's being fun, isn't it? But it calls it. That's the weird thing. This is actually calling that head. Oh no, it's not. Oh, interesting. Imports do I have using? Assume that one. Ah, that's healthier. That's healthier. Can I provide a value for property authorization policy provider? Authorization policy provider when it's at home. Authorization policy provider. That's all. What are you complaining about now? So main layout, nav menu. Yeah. If we import the authorization like you just suggested, you get a different behavior. But what is the policy provider? I mean, I'm happy to create one, but it looks like it's the default one. Let's try and run that again. Get that error and see. Cannot provide a value property on type authorized view. Probably not doing that. I'm probably not doing that either. Hold on. Let's make sure I'm doing the right things, right? So builder.services.add authorization core. Let's try that. Okay. Unhandled exception rendering component authorization requires a cascading parameter of type authentication state. Consider using cascading authentication state to supply this. There you go. We keep moving through the challenges, right? This is the piece that Mr. Anhorn created. So in the code, authorized route view, route data. Okay, so yeah, so in routes.razor, I have a routes.razor, app.razor, right? Authorized route view. Gotcha. So it's got to be authorized. Okay, that makes sense. That's better. Test app. No. .com test. Okay. So now let's refresh. No, we still don't have it. It's not breaking. That's okay. We also are not getting into here. But are we requesting that head? Yeah, we're getting a head. We're getting a 500 back from the head. So it's actually probably working correctly now. Right, because we're getting into authenticated. And we're getting a false back here. Okay, so now I'm happy that the client side is probably working. We just need to fix the server side. So that I could just make that a validate or something. I just wanted to kind of use the same. Like, this is causing a 500 error. Endpoints validate. Or would that be a big get? Let's move it there. Rename this to get. So this is a standard I have right? This is not a this is just the way I lay out the API. So again, that's again open to discussion along with the rest of the project. The user service now, this just needs to be a get. This is validate. It'll pass the token, and because it has to be authenticated, right? It will do that. Now, yeah, let's see if we can get there. Okay, so API validate. Oh, oops. 500. Only JSON requests can be deserialized to DTO type without constructor type. Oh, hold on. What am I sending? Let's find out first. That might have worked before. I'm not sending a content type. Oh no, I am. Let's here. I don't think it's that actually. Put on here. Nope. So it has to be here. Request. Should be headers, right? Just start. It's a header. I don't think that's what I want. Let's see. Any sort of programming, IPAX. I really do appreciate the contribution today. It's been fantastic. Thank you. Any sort of code stuff just messes with. Here we go. We're getting a response though. Right. So I send explain still. Right, because that's response, but the request. I didn't send out a content type with the request. That's the problem. That should have been. No, that's an accept header. Application JSON, not content type. Can't do that. Yeah, you can. Do that. See if that changes the behavior. I don't know why that matters for fast endpoints. Oh. That's a different view. It's not hitting that breakpoint, but it's not doing anything now. Oh dear. Misuse header name. Make sure request headers are. Okay, so that's just me breaking things. Okay. Okay, so what is that? So the way to do this, well, I'm not sending any content. That's the error it's giving me, the content. Right, so content equals new. This doesn't. Make sense. New string content. Right, that doesn't make sense. Oh crap, it's 9:10. Yeah, it's still erroring. Failed to execute fetch on window. Request with get can have body. Yeah. So I think this is a quirk of the way I've got the fast endpoint configured rather than actually this side of things. I think I'm heading in the wrong direction doing this. I think I've got to figure out why. Ah, can I do empty there? T request. Yeah, always takes the T request. Endpoint without request. There you go. That's the problem. I mean, it's a problem. It's not the problem. You got there. I'm just gonna do something. I really don't think this is what I need to do, and I need to finish this. So what I'll do tomorrow is I will review some of that. There you go. That validated. Okay, so that should be. There you go. Kind of working. So the button at the bottom is a log out button. So if I log in test at nowhere.com, password test, log in, refresh. We'll worry about updating the UI later. We now have what we need, right? When I load, we should see a network request, go to validate, and that returns. Yeah. If we log out, which is the button down here, by the way, I think. Yeah. Right. Authorization failed. There we go. So now that should be a 500 or 4 or nothing. it hides it. But either way, it is generally working. We just now need to do the stuff to make sure it updates the UI properly, but the authorized stuff is working and passing that down. So it's 9:12. I do have to end. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is for those that are still here that are relatively new to the stream. This is a project I work on Monday and Tuesdays. The aim being that if there's stuff people want to do with it, they can do it in the interim week, and they've got a time window. No, iPads, thank you very much for everything today. Thank you for the assistance. Thank you for the links, for the GitHub, etc. I really do appreciate that. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue this. It will be a little later tomorrow because I do have to drop a dog off at the vets. So my stream will be late tomorrow, probably around this time. And yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Let's quickly see if there's anyone to raid. Don't forget, all the content does get put to YouTube, so if there's anything useful from this, if you want to see more focus on something in the stream, let me know. I do want to make some dedicated content. I just don't want to make content randomly, right? I'd rather make targeted content based upon what we've done, based upon what we've talked about. So yeah. Okay. Let's go show Fullbots some love today. So Fullbots is working on a game. It is an awesome game. I know it's different than what I'm doing, but need a little levity. Actually, let me just check something beforehand. Hope he's not working on an overlay or. Oh, Fullbox. He's got a calendar up. I'm not raiding into a stream where you get to watch administration. Okay, I gotta go. I'm just gonna finish the stream today. We'll try and find some other. So I apologize for that. Fullbox is good. I recommend checking out his stream. He has got a really awesome game that he's building. I'm just not raiding into a stream where he's doing calendar stuff and all administration stuff. So I'm going to end here. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. See you soon.